Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly. The hot rumor out of the City of Angels is that UCLA coach Chip Kelly is going to be fired here pretty soon. And it's not surprising. And obviously down here in Bear Country, there's been a lot of talk and speculation whether Dave Aranda is going to be one of those coaches fired during the Toyota December to Remember sales event. And it's very possible. Very possible. So to me, the first thing I thought of is that's another job that's bigger than Baylor, UCLA, who has Chip Kelly's the highest paid California state employee. I know that's not surprising for a lot of college football coaches. It is for Chip Kelly in the state of California, especially with what you had to do to get Lincoln Riley at the other school across the street. So this is a big job, is what I mean by that. It's a big job, and it's going into the Big Ten, which is much more attractive than it was in the Pac-12. But it's a program that's dead at UCLA. I mean, you see the pictures every week. They get scores, dozens of people at their game at the Rose Bowl. And it's a basketball school. I mean, really, it's a film school at this point. They just don't care that much about football or about baseball, which is always really good. It's California, man. It sucks as a sports place. And so I think still it's a bigger job than Baylor. So that's the first thing I think of. We talked about this on the show recently of the schools that are above you in the pecking order that are getting their coaching search started before you are. And then I saw some traction on social media, not a ton, but some, of saying, well, if Chip Kelly's gone, forget about UCLA being open. What if Baylor's open? Could Chip Kelly be the next head coach at Baylor with the track record he has in college football? And I am here to tell you guys, boy, this is interesting. No chance. Keep him away. Chip Kelly? What year is this? 2011? Let me read off some of what Chip Kelly is, because you're thinking about 46-7 Chip Kelly at Oregon in his 4 years there. I promise you guys, he's not that anymore. And the first thing I read about it was Bill Plaschke, longtime sports writer in LA, did a great column about this, about how it's time to fire Chip Kelly. And this is one of the graphs that I want to read word for word. Tell me if it reminds you of anybody. Smart guy, bad program. Great mind, boring program. Decorated leader, backward program. I don't remind you of anyone we know. Smart guy, bad program. Great mind, boring program. I don't know, man. Sounds exactly like the guy you're trying to get fired right now. It sounds exactly like Dave Aranda in the position that Baylor is in. And yet there are people who are like, well, let's replace Dave Aranda with offensive Dave Aranda. Chip Kelly was once a great, great offensive mind. You cannot deny that. Obviously, at Oregon, I being a Patriots fan, Belichick used to love bringing him into training camp and picking his brain about offense. He got the shot twice at the NFL level. It didn't work out. His GM skills weren't that great either. And let's see what he's done since going back to college football and the Pac-12 at UCLA. 6 seasons. His record going into this weekend, 33-33. Doesn't get much more mid than that. And beyond that, no bowl wins in 6 seasons. This is no bowl wins, let alone a conference championship. Not even close. Never less than 3 Pac-12 losses. Never. You automatically spotting him 3 conference losses each year. That's not going to get you to championships. Never. 5-13 against ranked teams in the Pac-12. And in 6 seasons, 7 wins against teams that finished with a record over 500. That sound like the football coach you want in there? How about this? I know we're suckers for great offenses. We yearn for the days of the Bryles offense. How about his offenses at UCLA? First 4 years, in terms of total offense ranked in the nation. 75th, 65th, 21st, and then back down to 30th. Last year, they got up to 4th. Whoa, he's turned the corner. That's why they had high expectations this year. This year, 34th. 34th. I mean, Baylor would kill for 34th, but when you're bringing in and investing in a guy like Chip Kelly and 34th is the best you could do after being top 5 the year before, I'm good. I'm set. I'll take Jeff Traylor over him any day of the week at this point. And like Plaschke says in that column, he doesn't really invoke much in this program. He doesn't bring the energy and the recruiting that he did at Oregon, doesn't bring the excitement around a program that he did at Oregon. That went way out the door. When he took the job with the Eagles, that left. And everyone, all the discourse around his job at UCLA, specifically with the fans, is that there's just no belief in the system there, which is, again, exactly what you're facing here. It's exactly what you're facing here. This is offensive Dave Aranda. And just because an offense was good 12 years ago does not mean it's going to be good in the year of our Lord, 2023. You know who you can ask about that? Ask the opponent this week. Ask the TCU fans how they like a great offense from 10 years ago with Kendall Briles. It's not working. These guys are in the same boat. Chip Kelly and Art Briles, or excuse me, Kendall Briles. Those two aren't in the same boat. But in terms of how they have not been able to adapt, those Kendall Briles numbers sound a lot, or excuse me, I can't talk. The Chip Kelly numbers sound a lot like what Kendall's offenses were at Arkansas. Sounds a lot like it. Underwhelming. Big underwhelming. So Chip Kelly, it's a no from me, dog. Now, another interesting name that came up, Gary Patterson, was on the Matt Mosley show on ESPN Central Texas yesterday. A colleague of mine, Matt Mosley, he comes on an hour after Drake and I finish up. And Gary says, hey, I'm ready to coach again. I ain't pulled my name out of this. It's like Barry Bonds when he unofficially retired. And then in like 6 years later, it was like, okay, finally I'm retired. Gary Patterson's not done, he says. And he says he's got a whole staff. He's just been playing golf. And when he gets the call, he's giving his guys the call. He's ready to go. Could you believe what would happen if Gary Patterson coached the Baylor Bears? I would take it in a heartbeat. I'd take it in a heartbeat. So quick. Has the game passed him by? I don't know about that. Maybe it sounds hypocritical to some people who, when I say basically the game has passed Chip Kelly by, but I don't know that it's passed Gary Patterson by. He would obviously never do it, and I don't think Baylor would ever do it. But how great would that be? This is a Hall of Fame coach. This is one of the best coaches of a generation. He knows how to build things out of the dust. We're not giving him dust here. We're not giving him a lot, but he could get this program back winning and get excitement around this place. It would be the funniest thing ever, what it would do to this fan base and to TCU's fan base. But give me Gary Patterson over Chip Kelly any day of the week. Any day. That's going to do it for us here at Locked On Baylor today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about this TCU game upcoming and the rivalry in general. I've got some guests on this week who are going to talk about seeing it from both sides of things. And it's a fun week. Not in the way that Mac Rhodes says. I don't think it's like playing your brother or your sister. I want to win this game at all costs. I hate those guys. And they hate us, which is perfect. It's great. But love talking about this rivalry any way we can. So thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. I truly appreciate you guys. Drop a like, drop a subscribe if you haven't already. We're just over 2,000 followers. We want to push that to 3,000. Drop a comment in there about what you think about Chip Kelly or Gary Patterson or Baylor women's basketball. We love it all. And we are back tomorrow. Thank you for making this what it is. And that is Locked On Baylor.